He just introduced us to a lot of different people over there. We got to hear the sort of the equivalent of like the national orchestra of Senegal, but instead of strings and, horns and stuff like that, it was incredible percussionists, traditional instruments that look like things like the kora, things like these like long harp-like instruments, but they lay flat, these long string instruments. Anyway, and then these wonderful singers. And there were probably about 30 of them on stage. We got to go to a rehearsal of theirs. And let me tell you, Donato, it felt like I was back in church. They have no religious affiliation with Christianity whatsoever. Right. But that's our people. We come from West Africa. I mean, most of us come from West Africa.
My 23andMe is all up and down the coast.
Yeah, same, bro, same. So that's in this. Like, you change the religion, you change the words, you change the language, but that spiritual, that desire to go to that special kind of spot where people start to get taken over by something else. There's that desire, and I found we're listening to that orchestra. Every singer that got up there and sang their song.
Is there anything better than a trip getting ready? Nope. For a long journey where our podcast released a new app and searching for a fade feeling, new fixation. Giving this a subscribe is the same sensation. Started with the day ones, they gave us fuel to support the season. Could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here for a reason. Notification bells, text some friends, all to let you know. Check your Bluetooth, connect, talking with Donato.
Welcome in, everyone. Season 2, Episode 6, PhoboPhobia. With our guest, Daniel Fears. They're gonna Google that one, Daniel. They're gonna Google that one. Be like, PhoboPhobia, I don't really know what that is, and I'm not gonna talk about it.
Okay. I might have to Google it too, then, huh?
Oh, hey, then I'm glad I got something that'll keep you interested then. Daniel, thanks for joining. Daniel, you and I have only been around each other 2 other times. But I hope you know, I really like you. Like there was like an energy. Like I was so excited about the time we were able to talk on the radio station, and I immediately knew then I need more time. I gotta talk to Daniel Fears more than just the little 20 minutes that we had in the station. So here we are for those who may be wondering. Daniel, I want to start with a little bit about Daniel Fears. Come on. There are other musicians that have to go on before you or after you, but no one wants their name next to Daniel Fears. Am I right?
As in Daniel Fears and then other artists' name here?
I know, man. Like Steve Rogers, Steve Carrington. Like whose name looks good after Daniel Fears?
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I think a lot of people ask if that's my given name or if that's a stage name I just came up with. But no, that's the given name. That's what I was given. So yeah, I mean, maybe make some people nervous. I don't know. Who knows? But maybe that's okay. Maybe that's okay.
PhoboPhobia. That's what. See, afterwards, everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, I get it now." But I'm gonna tell you, Daniel, I like the name, and I just wonder, was it hard for you to decide to keep Daniel Fears? Did you already know I'm sitting on a gold mine, or was there anything else you were considering? Are there any other stage names you've ever gone by?
Actually, it's always been Daniel Fears. I think like there was a couple moments where I was like, maybe it should be like, think of people like Stevie Wonder. You think about people like John Legend. I mean, I think it's Stephen Moreland is Stevie Wonder's real name. I don't know what John Legend's real last name is. Maybe his name's not even John. I'm not sure. Right. But it seemed like it made sense for me. Like that felt like a solid name in and of itself. We were gonna, try Fears itself, but I think that maybe gives a different vibe, a different connotation. And I feel like there's already several bands, artists that are just Fears of some kind, I think when you hear somebody's name, you want it to sort of speak to the type of music that they perform. So I feel like Fears was not the vibe for like some smooth R&B inspired songwriter stuff. It's just not the energy. So.
Yeah. Hey, baby, we about to play something real smooth. I'm gonna get this mood going. You ever heard of Fears? By itself, I don't think it's gonna set the mood. But yeah, okay. So the Daniel kind of smooths it out. It pops though, man. It pops. Okay, I gotta ask you something else then. The fact that you are a crooner, do you lead with that when you talk to people? Because come on, man. Look, it sounds like the pickup line. It sounds like you making it up already, Daniel Fears. But then you're like, yeah, I'm a crooner. I sing, I do that. Come on. You can't lead with that, right? Tell me you're more humble with that, or you just hit people in the face with it.
Oh, no. You gotta let them discover it.
Oh, you don't lead with that at all? What? So wait.
No, I mean, it depends on the context. But if I'm just like, if it's just me, if I'm cool in it, it's just like a couple people, I'm not gonna lead with, oh, by the way, I sing. It's like, can I sing you something?
I'm trying. Hey, at the hairdresser, I'm trying to get a discount. Let me sing something for you. Before you retwist, let me give you this.
Right. No, I think it's a lot more interesting for people to sort of discover it themselves. Or if I'm kind of torn about these things, because some people are the type to say everything that they are and they and everything that they've done, and they put it right up front, and that works really well for them. For me, I tend to just like talk. This is who I am. This is the type of things that I do. Boom, boom, boom. And then like people can discover, they listen to music like, oh wow, this is okay. You actually give a damn, you actually put in effort and time and energy into this, I feel like once you listen to the music, I feel like you can hear that, you can pick up on that.
Daniel, we always like to put stuff in little boxes. So when you do tell someone, do you say I'm R&B? Do you say I'm soul? Because everyone wants to be like, okay, so if you say R&B, they're gonna be like, who you sound like? If you say I sing soul, okay, who you sound like? Right. So is there a certain way that you deliver it though? Because you kind of know what the next question is gonna be. How do you drop it?
Yeah, I mean, these days, lately I've been saying like, oh, it's R&B soul with like an experimental lean. You know what I mean? Like, it's got some other stuff in there too. It's not just straight ahead R&B or straight ahead soul. A little room for interpretation.
Yeah,
a little different flavors in there.
Daniel, tell me if you're this type, and we're not judging, but we trying to figure you out. You're on the elevator, someone else comes in, but you grooving. All of a sudden, you're in the background. Ooh yeah. Or so people over your place, we're about to go somewhere, but you're just like, hey, let me go freshen up right quick. Y'all get comfortable. You in the shower doing the Coke commercial that Tyrese Gibson did. Well, I mean, are you either one of those types? Like, do you hide it, or sometimes you see it as practice? Because I actually don't know what those people are doing. The people that like are always singing. So, are you that type?
Yeah, I'm kind of always singing. I mean, that's the thing. I'm not gonna necessarily do it on purpose. I'm not gonna like be in the elevator and just like, I'm not trying to do that. Tuning up and stuff. I'm not. No. I'm usually not that type. But I think by accident I might. Yeah. I remember there was one time I was like 18 and I was working at a restaurant at the time. I was real quiet, especially back then.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened. Maybe a song that I like came on, from where the cook was putting on, and I started to hum along with it. And everybody just like turned and looked like you don't say two words and you're humming like out the blue, like yeah, because honestly that's the stuff that sort of calms me down or centers me. I'm just like a melody or something like that. That's usually what like speaks to me. So, you know, it's less of a show off thing. You know, if I'm entertaining a guest and they're at the house and they're like, okay, what do you do? I'm like, okay, well, I sing, I do this. They're like, okay, show me something. I say, okay, I got you. And so I put up a video. I might do the one with the strings, or I might do the first video I ever did some years ago. And I think it just, like, people get it like that. But I'm not, yeah, I try not to like be in people's faces with it, you know?
Look at his face.
Wait,
you know what? I'll give you that face, Daniel. And I'm sorry for the audio people. It's a come on, man, face. Because Daniel, you got superpowers. It's like those people that like are like 8th degree black belts, right? Don't they have to say before they get in a fight with you that my hands are registered weapons? Like, you just come on. You knew at 18, you knew you weren't normal, but you still lifted that truck up off of the person trapped underneath for your strength. You can't just do that, Daniel. You know we're gonna be flocking. Hey, and then don't we do this? Hey, sing you know, I like Brown Sugar by D'Angelo. I'm gonna come back to that. I like Brown Sugar by D'Angelo. Yo, sing that. We do that after we find out you can sing. We ask you that too, don't we? Later, sing something we like.
Man, you know, honestly, there's not that many people that are like, all right, bro, you gotta sing me this song like right now.
Okay.
Like, let's go.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I usually, I don't think I give off that energy, so I think people don't ask. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he's the resting don't mess with me face singer. You want me to say all right now? Yeah, all right. You know, now that you think about it, nah, I'm good. That's the resting Daniel face. Nah, I'm not excited right now, but yeah, I guess I can sing to you. Straight. Okay. Daniel, I'm gonna ask you this last one, but we gotta go back. You distracted me, Daniel, but that's good. I knew this was gonna be fire. I'm having fun, but I gotta ask you this last thing before we go back, because we want to know about the birth, the genesis, the beginning. Daniel, karaoke night. I'm making my list. I like you, but I ain't inviting you over. That happens, right? I know that happens.
Where they're like, Daniel, don't sing.
So
is that what you're saying? Like don't. Like, we're trying to have fun here. Don't.
Well, I was saying I should leave you off the list, because it would be painful to invite you and then not give you the chance, because again, you got superpowers. But you're saying invite you and then ask you to be muted and just enjoy everyone else. How does that work?
Oh. I mean, I feel like if it's if it's an environment where people are having fun, we're all singing, yeah, like put me on, I'll sing. I'm happy to.
No, you know what making us look bad. I got my boo-boo right here. I just did. My go-to is Mario, Let Me Love You. And I got up there. I thought I did it till you get up there. And now I'm trying to hold my boo thing down. Daniel ain't all that good. Let me sit back down. Daniel ain't all that good.
You know what's funny is, like, I was singing that exact same song. Like, you're like, because I had a feeling it was gonna be like, well, what karaoke song do you sing or something like that. I was like, oh, that's a good
we got the same karaoke song.
I mean, I'm gonna go for it. Yeah, I'm about to sing that at somebody's wedding, so I'm learning. I've been learning on keys and everything.
There it is. Don't invite me to the karaoke with you, and I'm definitely not inviting you, because your name comes before mine alphabetically. Daniel comes before Donato. They're going to put you up first, and then I ain't got nothing. I'm going to be like, dang, I'm going to look at you, too. I'm a mad dog you the whole time you singing. Everybody else swaying, loving it. Oh, and I'm looking at you the whole time, resting Daniel face. Hate you, Daniel. Hate you.
You know, Donato, I feel like you bring the energy, though. I feel like you bring, you know what I'm saying? I feel like you bring a full-on performance. So I'm like, yes, I'm not going to second guess you.
Yeah,
I'm not going to doubt your ability.
You know me well, Daniel. I do move and groove. I'm a dancer. I teach Latin dance, but I'm gonna try to do as much of the choreography from that video as I can.
Wow. Okay, bro. That'll bring the house down. That'll bring the house down.
I mean, because I gotta stay in my lane. I know what I'm not saying I am Mario, but I generally put on a good show.
Now I'm not saying I'm Mario.
I don't know. Hold on. Yep, I'm seeing some resemblance there. Mario don't have the long hair right now, but I don't know. Even the resemblance ain't even too far off.
That's funny. That's funny. No, I was speaking as you. I was speaking as you.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Well, maybe all of your friends are like, hey, Daniel, don't go after Donato. That Donato just tore it down right now. A guy can dream, Daniel. Just let me have it. Don't correct me.
I feel like you got it, Donato. I feel like you got it.
Man, it's fun though. You know, I mean, like I make music, but every rapper wants to be a singer. Every singer wants to be a rapper. What I've seen a lot, and I would try to put on a good show, and then when I'm done, next, who's next? But that's what we're there for. Daniel, let's go back. Where are you from? I gotta know. I'm getting some vibes here. I'm gonna say you. For those who don't know, the vibes when you walked in the first time I met you. The vibe. I'm gonna say you was like some Philadelphia, like some smoky spot in Philadelphia. I'm gonna say West Philadelphia, but how far off am I?
Couple thousand miles, but that's okay. That's okay. That's okay.
Thanks for letting me down easy.
I like the smoky bar idea. So like literally born in a smoky bar in Philadelphia.
Yeah. Your peeps had you in there. They couldn't afford daycare, so they had you play underneath next to the bottles.
That's right. It's playing underneath.
That's how you became a singer. One day you were just in the back mopping and sweeping, and then everyone found out you could sing, and then to help bring money in for the family, I don't know where I'm going with this, they put you up on stage as an underage performer, and then this could be a great little next video for you.
The Daniel Fears story.
Yes.
In a smoky bar in West Philadelphia.
Yeah.
A legend was born.
And at that time, I think everyone would enjoy the story. How come we never judge your peeps for having you in there playing underneath the bar with the bottles at? We never did.
That was a dark time. I don't like to bring it up.
Don't encourage me, Daniel. Okay, but since I was off a couple thousand miles, where you from? Where you claim?
H-Town from Houston. Grew up in Houston, like in Crestmont Park, and then we moved to the suburbs, Pearland, when I was little. And so I was kind of like in the suburbs, and we go up to Houston and go to church and do the whole thing. You know, we were in church like 3-4 times a week, so we were in Houston all the time. But I grew up in Houston. So,
did you know you had that voice then? Because if you was in church that much, there wasn't a church choir that was going to let you get up out of there.
No. Honestly, man, I didn't sing it on my mom is a singer, and, she was raised and trained like classical music.
Yeah.
And, my sister sang, she did choir. She sang in the youth, choir, I guess, and sang in church. I was playing drums in church. I was taking piano lessons early on, but I actually started playing trombone in middle school band, and so I was around 11 years old.
Yeah.
I was obsessed with playing drums. I was obsessed with, just like taking part in that way. I really didn't open my mouth and sing in public for years, man. Not till I was at least maybe 18. Maybe 18 is like my senior year of high school. Yeah.
Trombone and drums. So we're gonna get to where you are now, but you performing. Hold on. So I'm Donato. I'm over on the drums. I mean, I'm all right. I ain't nice with it. If I'm not good enough, Oh, the whole time, are you cutting your eyes like, oh, this is what they gave you? Are you a drum snob, a trombone snob now, or you just let people live how they live?
I'm letting people live.
Okay.
It's like,
okay,
play how you play, you
okay,
know.
all right.
That's your business. That's not my business.
Ooh, thanks, because
You know?
I feel like I'd be a little self-conscious, like. I saw your pod. I know you used to play the drums. I'm trying my best, Daniel. Keep singing.
Yeah.
Trying. Trying my best. So you mentioned earlier, though, it sounded like when you were telling us you were 18 and like if you were humming, people would find out Daniel doesn't talk much, but that humming, we see a little talent. So I want to go back to high school. Who were you in high school? Quiet Daniel? In the background Daniel? Were you voted most likely to grow up and drive a bus Daniel? I don't know. What was that Daniel like?
That Daniel was pretty very reserved, I would say, around most people.
Yeah.
Quiet around most people. I was not singing. You know, and I had a friend who encouraged me to do that, you know, to sing. It was like, come on, just sing this song, you know, and I was singing in the wrong register and, you know, singing all low and everything, you know.
Wait, who are you trying to be? Who are you trying to be with that low?
Man, there's the thing, they had me singing like a female song, but I couldn't get the range right. So it's like I was, you know, in my heart, I was like, I really got it. I know I got it.
Yeah.
That's okay. And this is a funny thing. This is a funny thing to know. I feel like if we had judged what I would do or make off of that moment,
yeah,
you know, I wouldn't be doing this. You know what I mean? It's like I feel like the reason I'm like able to go out and sing and be confident in front of people is because I had this time where I was developing that skill kind of quietly. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Before anybody could say, "Oh, okay, well, you know, you keep trying." You know what I mean? Like,
yes,
I didn't really have those people. I just had encouragement, and it probably wasn't until I was around 24 or something like that.
Yeah,
that I was singing more regularly, and people were like, "Okay, maybe you should do this more." So it's kind of this journey of doing a bunch of other things. But again, my point being, if I had showed everybody what I wanted to do, you know, at that time, I wouldn't be doing it. I don't think I'd be doing it. There's some stuff that's for other people, and there's some stuff that's just for you, you know, until you're ready to show them. That could be me. I do tend to be a little like a bit of a guarded person, I think, with certain things.
Yeah.
You know, but for me, I thrive on like figuring it out myself, and then just like, then you show people. But
Daniel, we're going to get off topic. I want to stay back in the past, but I got to know. So I made the joke, you're a superhero. You got superpowers. And then you tell us your origin story, and it sounds like you're Spider-Man. If you remember, I'm a nerd. Spider-Man finds the skills and then like lingers underground working on that game, you know, gets into wrestling matches and things like that. That's what sounds like you were doing, like you were owning your craft before you revealed that from 18 to 24 or something. That's like 6 years of you know, getting those skills tight. But then you hit us with that last part, which is where I want to go. Who does a metamorphosis like that? It's like there's a quiet Daniel, and now you're Daniel Fears the performer. People don't change like that, Daniel. You got to know that's not typical. It's more atypical. Agree?
I agree. Yeah, I agree. Well, I'll say this, you know, even though I wasn't singing in public for a long time, I went to school for music, and I was playing trombone at the University of Texas. And then eventually playing out in public, you know, my last year at UT. And so I'll tell you this, man, I from high school to after school, after UT, I probably performed at least 1,000 times, you know, on drums, on trombone, you know, I messed around on a couple different instruments. So I had experience on the stage. It was just sort of in the background that I was writing music and stuff. And that, honestly, just to get our time, you know, I don't want to confuse the listeners or anything. Let me make it clear for the listeners.
Okay.
So for that period, 18 to 24, I was in school. I was performing on trombone, learning a couple different instruments, and then, like, you know, I think I started taking being an artist and stuff seriously years after that. I mean, to not confuse people, but around, I want to say like 28 was when I started writing music. Yeah.
So let me understand. It's a different medium. It's like you're saying a baseball player says, I got good hand-eye coordination, so I'm gonna just go try out cricket and maybe be good. But I feel like that's what you were saying. You took your strength, you took your comfortability from performing, and the sheer confidence you had within yourself of the time it took for you to get to this point ready to release it to everybody. And you said, with all of that wind behind me, boom, I'm a surge forward. That's how it happened. Because it's still, I hear what you say, but man, it just seems like that's just such a big leap from being a musician, playing a trombone, or even dabbling with the drums, if that was the but Daniel, I was just asking, it seems like they're so opposite, playing those instruments and then being the focal point singing. So you just used the confidence from one to fuel you for the other.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
100%. Plus it was like, as I'm practicing trombone, you know, I had a teacher who was like, sing everything that you play. So, you know, I would spend lots of time getting these real technical things and being able to sing them to make sure they translated to the horn well. Yeah, so I mean, that was time kind of shedding that, singing weird stuff, you know, like classical music and stuff, singing that. And so there was that, a little bit of training. I think, to sort of answer your question about, like, it feels like a leap from like being a baseball player to going to play cricket or polo or something. It's like a little bit, yeah. But I always felt like I had such great support around me that it made it more possible. And that, okay, so this is the thing. I heard someone who was a serious, like, weight trainer talking about this. Like, if you're wanting to change your life, if you want to move in a different direction, rather than starting with the most strenuous kind of workout you can do and working out for 4 hours. I'm gonna work out for 4 hours every day or 2 hours every day or whatever. You know, something that's wildly different than what you normally do. It's like, okay, let me find something that I can repeat. Let me find a pattern that I can continue. You know, and that's something. I mean, you know that you've been biking since the pandemic. You know, shoot. You know, so it's like finding something that you can continue, and over time you're building your comfort in this thing, and over time, you know, it looks like to other people it's a major leap from here to here, but you've been taking little steps to get to here. You know, so it looks like a leap, but it's just little baby steps over time. And I feel like that's been my way. Is, for instance, my first EP, Canopy, we worked on that for about 2 years.
Yeah.
You know, and to kind of speak on it a little bit, I had a friend of mine who's a producer hear me at a rehearsal that I was doing. I was playing trombone in this band, and there was one song that I sang with this band. All the rest of them I played trombone. But he heard me sing, and he was like, bro, you're an artist. And that was like, that was a wild thing, and just how great, I'm so grateful to be someone spoke into my life like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
that literally changed the course of my life. Literally changed the course of my life. And okay, so that's the thing. And I think normally in a movie or something, it'd be like, all right, great. Then when you take you to the studio, you write some incredible songs, and then you go, you know, do the thing that you're gonna do. And it didn't really work like that. It wasn't so straightforward. You know, it went from you're an artist, you know, to let me hear what you're working on. He came to my house. This was many years ago, and he listened to stuff I was working on. And he was like, I think you should write some more. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So here's what I did. You know, I think summer was coming up, and I was like, all right, well, let me see what would happen if I wrote every day for the entire summer. You know, something. I just set aside 10 minutes minimum. That'd be I write something on piano, or I sing it, or I write a poem, or some lyrics, or melody, whatever, and record it. Boom, put it down. Go. If I want to continue, I can. If I don't, I don't. But at least I just check that little box. And so by the end of the summer, that's like 90 little ideas. I found that from those 90 things, those 90 ideas, song starters, we whittled it down to like 15 things, and we built and expanded upon that. From those 15 things, we've picked 6 of those and expanded upon those and tightened things up and moved things around. And then eventually that became the EP, my first EP. Created some beautiful visuals with it too. And there's a whole other thing, but the whole point of that is like incremental steps to being where it is you want to be, and things that you can sustain versus just a strongman Hercules type effort. You know what I mean? Like, no, just keep it simple, keep it manageable. Yeah. Keep track of where you are. And maybe have some people who can be who you can be accountable to, you know? Yeah.
Daniel, because of your background musically before singing, does that complicate things when it's time to record? Like, are you sometimes a little caught up by the music, a little too into the music? And like, is that hard to separate? Look, I'm in here just to sing. I'm gonna let those guys do that, or I'm gonna let the producer or somebody bring me these beats, and I'm gonna just focus on singing this. Do you think it's a hard thing to let go, or maybe because of your background that makes the sessions go faster? Is you're like, yeah, I see what you got, add this, and then let me sing this part. Which way does it go normally?
It depends on the type of session, but I think for that first EP, especially that first set of music, is a very like hands-on approach to the music. And what was nice about that is I was working with a partner named Moses. Yeah, and Moses.
No better guidance than Moses,
right?
Dude, your whole life has been heaven sent. You got people putting batteries in your back. You got Moses guiding you, man.
Yeah.
This was meant to be.
I think so, man. I think so. Moses, that's so crazy. Moses was guiding me, man. Moses, and he was a huge like a mentor and just showed me the ropes, man. Honestly, he's my age, you know, but I feel like he was just so experienced in that world. He was working with Timbaland's crew, like as a sort of background producer, you know, one of the people that does the dirty work. But he got to do some incredible projects. Like he worked on a song with Imagine Dragons. He's working on their project. Yeah. Under Timbaland's sort of umbrella. Yeah. You know, he has people that he works with, but and he's got to do some amazing things. But so to have somebody like that in my corner, I can offer suggestions. I can like, hey, can it be like this? Oh, I really want it more like this. Here's what I'm listening to. We focus on the music. And then when it's time for me to record, then it's okay, that's a different mode. All right, now I'm focusing on singing. We've gotten the music to a point where it's like, for our first draft, this is good enough, you know? From there, let's add on the vocals, you know? But I try to work in that way, just working in pieces. A little bit of this, get it how you want it, add a little bit more, a little bit of that. I think that's the idea, you know?
I like what you said there. Let's focus on the music, because I I want to know, is it harder going into the studio? Because you've done what I'm sure many up and comers that are listening to this will say, I'm just trying to get something recorded. But Daniel's already done that, been in the studio. Daniel's done live performances. Daniel doesn't know what it's like. And so I'm just kind of curious, what's your go-to? Do you like in that studio? It feels like maybe you're more in control, or do you like that those live performances and see that crowd reaction and maybe that is energizing? I'm just kind of see what your favorite is.
Yeah, somebody asked me this last night too. That's a hard question. I was like, do you like food or water better?
We want to see you sweat.
What's that? Yeah, they do.
We want to see you sweat.
Yeah. I feel like if you here's my thing. If I can set up my music and my experiences and the musicians that I play with, if I can get them set up enough so that the live performance feels like comfortable and enjoy, then I'm going to enjoy that. I feel like the studio is like, for me, is like the seed of the idea,
Yeah.
And you let it grow a little bit through the studio and it becomes a song. It becomes something that makes sense to other people. From there, like you take it to the live performance, and now it's a whole new dimension to it. I feel like that's where the tree, the bush, the whatever starts to either flower or have fruit. That's where you can interact with people. That's where you can feel like, okay, this part people really like mess with this part. This really speaks to people. So it's like it's hard to say, but I love them both. I love the energy. We just did a live show with a full band with the string quartet plus an incredible rhythm section, drums, keys, guitar, great jazz musicians, great classical musicians, great singers.
Yeah.
At the 04 Center, man, that was an incredible show. And I feel like they elevated everything,
Yeah.
When I'm real clear in the studio with like what it is I wanted the vibe to be like.
Yeah.
When you take it to some musicians, they're like, oh, okay, I get it. And they can open that thing up and take it to another level, But it starts with being really clear about what you're trying to create,
Yeah. I asked because it seems like, as I said, my explanation or my description was that your hands on, you can control what's going on in the studio. But those live performances, like that Smoky Bar in West Philadelphia, come on, Daniel, you got Miss Jenkins sitting on that front row, and you just got out that first half of the verse, and there's that dull point where you're just doing a little keyboard stroke, and she's like, "Sing, baby," and then it hits you at just the right spot. You and her make eye contact. You're feeling it and bringing it back. Or even like the performance you just did. You said that was last night you just performed? Or
I did
just
perform last night. I did perform last night.
So when you're with a great rhythm section or Miss Jenkins in the front row, come on, that adrenaline, can it get away from you? I mean, I played a lot of sports, and I know sometimes them crowds get to you, and you want to tear the roof off this mother. Does that happen to you?
Like tear the roof, just like let's put on like this incredible like different.
Like the musicians are looking at you like, Daniel's going a little long, carrying this stuff a little long today. Keep playing, we'll just keep playing.
That's funny. Yeah, I feel like the spirit does catch you in those moments, definitely. And there's some moments you're like, I don't want this to end. When the band is really hitting its stride, and it's like the music is feeling good. Like stay right there. That kind of energy. Yeah, sometimes it's hard to end it. It's hard to change. I mean, to answer your question though, like, would your question be like, it's hard to like stay on the rails, or like what? Yeah.
Yes. Like you think I'm gonna drive 55 miles per hour in this? We just came out. We're just doing a couple songs here, but that crowd, it's hype, and you just start to feel some energy inside of you, and you trying to, because like I know like Prince will get an encore and they'll ask you to come back, Now I know some people don't do encores. I think y'all have to. Like, you don't want to lead the crowd. You don't want them to storm the stage. But there's got to be some moments where you're like, I got to give these people more. You got to look back at your band and say, let's go there.
Yeah. I feel like yeah, definitely. I feel like at the last, that big show with the strings, with the rhythm section, the whole thing, like at that show, the energy was wild. I haven't really felt that from an audience or from my band like that before.
Wow.
I mean, we sing the song or whatever, and just people are just just like
yes,
and the band is responding to that, and I'm responding to that, and like we've prepared enough, and we have enough room within the arrangements, within everything to be able to like open it up a little bit.
Yes,
to stretch it out a little bit.
Yes,
so it's cool to get to play with that energy, like with a group of great musicians.
Yeah.
Great singers. You can start to stretch, you can start to open that up and give people like more of what they're wanting and even elevate it. I remember after our last song at the 04 Center, I went backstage and everybody like gets up, is clapping, and it was a plan for me to go backstage, do the encore thing that we always do, whatever. So I go backstage, and like the energy from that means like maybe 300 people there, maybe like around 260, something like that.
Yeah.
Full. And I go backstage and I'm like almost shaking from that. I'm like jumping up and down, like behind, nobody can see, but I'm just jumping up and down, like trying to get this energy up. It's so much. It's the craziest feeling. And so I feel like after that, okay, all right, let me come back. All right, let's do this last song. And the brand just brings it on on another level. So like, man, I feel like, maybe I'm answering your question, maybe I'm going a different direction, but for me,
you're answering it.
Yeah, you got to get with the people who can like help realize those visions. You got to surround yourself with people who can like go to the places that you're trying to go. I'm trying to go there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's relatively new for me, but I'm trying to go to that spot. I'm trying to go to that spiritual spot, that emotional spot, that exciting place. Yeah, I'm trying to go there. So you need to get people around you that can respond when it's time to go there. They're ready. All right, what are we doing? All right, or sometimes they already know. Sometimes they already know.
We know. We saw you backstage. Somebody said you was trying to dunk. You was jumping so high. We don't know what was going on. I could just imagine if we left stage, maybe the band was still giving a couple songs, but you're backstage and people see you and these eyes are just their eyes are just bugged out. We gotta get Daniel back on the stage. Daniel got more.
Yeah. And the people, that's what people want. I feel like we need permission to, as a society, as people in general, we just need somebody to lead us to that place.
Yeah.
We want somebody to lead us there, to give us permission.
Yes.
We maybe go there by ourselves, but if you're the only person doing it, you're sitting in the crowd by yourself, people might look at you a little funny. But if you got a group of musicians on stage and singing and everything, pushing you in that direction, encouraging you to go there, you can,
Yeah.
I'll say this one thing on the live thing that was really inspiring. Last year I went to West Africa. I got to go to Senegal. It was an absolute blessing.
Yeah.
My partner at the time was trained in playing a Senegalese instrument, and she had a teacher over there. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, that's a whole other story. But she had a teacher over there, a mentor that kind of like guided her and taught her how to play and all these things. And he just introduced us to a lot of different people over there. We got to hear the equivalent of like the national orchestra of Senegal, but instead of strings and horns and stuff like that, it was incredible percussionists, traditional instruments that look like things like the kora, things like these like long harp-like instruments, but they lay flat. these long string instruments. Anyway, like, and these wonderful singers. And there were probably about 30 of them on stage. We got to go to a rehearsal of theirs. And let me tell you, Donato, it felt like I was back in church. It did. And these, you know, they have no religious affiliation with Christianity whatsoever, you know. But that's our people. We come from West Africa. I mean, most of us come from West Africa. That's
my 23andMe is all up and down the coast.
Yeah, same, bro, same. So that's in this. Like, you change the religion, you change the words, you change the language, but that spiritual, that desire to go to that special kind of spot where people start to get taken over by something else, you know, there's that desire. And I found we're listening to that orchestra, every singer that got up there and sang their song, they would find some way to get to that space. They started being real, like, you know, just like simple and smooth. And then about 2/3 of the way through the song, there'd be one of the drummers in the back would go, blah, and then the song goes way faster. Everybody's going, and they start moving. And you see people get taken over by the spirit. That, you know, they're walking normal at first, and then they just, you know.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, so I found that was a real inspiring thing. I'm trying to go to that place when I perform. I want to go there. You know.
Yes. Daniel, I told you this was going to be nice. We did a little pre-production meeting. This is where it goes off the rails. I'm going to get personal right now. These two questions are going to be very personal.
Okay.
Here's the first one. Where do you get your inspiration for your music? Where are you getting these songs? I told you I make a little music. If I listen to some Jadakiss or some Raekwon, I can get my bars flowing like you wouldn't believe. Where do you need to be? What needs to happen personally? Where does it generate from for you?
Yeah, I try to that's a great question. I try to listen to somebody's album or like get in their zone and their vibe. If I want to create something in that genre, just like to sit and just receive that. Maybe I'll be cleaning something or straightening something up, and my subconscious can pick up on that. And like, okay, then we can get into this mode. And before I know it, those melodies are just kind of coming out on their own. And so for me, it's always the setup is crucial. Are you setting yourself up to be able to like flow?
Yes.
You know? And so for me, it's like listening to music. So I think to answer your question further, it's like I'm inspired by a lot of things. But it maybe it's Marvin Gaye one day. Maybe, you know, like the sort of 1970s period Marvin Gaye, you know, the Let's Get It Ons, What's Going Ons, I Want You, that whole, it's like great inspired music going to that place that we were talking about earlier. So it might be Marvin, it might be a more modern sort of person I've been listening to, like this guy Nick Hakim. He's great. It's very like ASMR, soul inspired. It's a blend of a bunch of different sounds and worlds. I've been digging his music. So, or maybe it's K Tronada. You know, like that's for future music. That's not the music that's out right now. But so it's just like sit and soak up a world, you know, and then set it up so I can easily get started on something, whether voice notes on my phone or play a little something on the keys. Yeah, I just have a space where you're ready to go quickly, you know, so you can nothing's going to stop you from expressing that inspiration.
This is the follow up to that one. I didn't get to the second one. What about getting dumped? Relationship coming to an end.
Oh man,
what that doing for you? How many songs you got? What you said you had 90 songs. You get down to, you wrote that summer. You started with 90, whittled it down to 15. But about 70 of them was about getting dumped. Like, look, like
No,
what about that feeling?
That feeling. I mean, Nick Hakim is one of those types as well. He really he speaks to that. So I was in a relationship for a long time, and last year we broke up around this time. And man, I'm telling you, this album Cometa by Nick Hakim, that spoke to me, man. There's certain songs that just kind of they put a blanket on you, like, hey,
yeah, they do.
It's gonna be good. A recent one that came out too is you listen to Anderson .Paak ever?
Oh yeah, I do.
Yeah, he's got a project with this producer Knowledge.
Yeah,
you heard of him?
No.
What's his project? It's called the project together is called No Worries.
Okay.
And like NX Worries. And that's all it's all a breakup album, man. That had me my feelings definitely like and look, I want to, so I think that those two records were there for me. And that the second one, the No Worries one is great for being like, God, man. Getting out that kind of image.
Yes.
So I say those two records for me right now.
So here's the second one. Since you're a songwriter and singer, as that total artist, those that are like you, Daniel, why y'all so bad at relationships? What Taylor Swift, what 50% of her joints is about the breakups and the bad relationships. Is it that y'all stayed locked in a room working on your music so much y'all ain't got the reps like the rest of us to figure out the good relationships, so you get the bad ones and then you get dumped, but then it gives us more music? Why y'all so bad? Speak on it for everybody. I'm gonna just give one blanket statement for all singers.
Oh man, a whole blanket statement. Oh man, that's tough. Okay. Oh man, that's tough.
I know.
Okay, because I asked the same question. I'll tell you this. I asked the same question. Why is Taylor Swift singing all these sad songs all the time?
Thank you.
I'll tell you this, man. Somebody just told me the other day she was in a relationship for like 6 years. You know what I mean? I think at some point it's like sometimes you're singing for yourself, and then sometimes you're singing for somebody else. Sometimes you're like getting somebody else's story. Sometimes you're like making somebody else's thing your own. And then, so that's one example. Another one would be like somebody, another favorite artist saying on the interview, like, yeah, I get a lot of inspiration from things not going well. I can't really imagine the things. I have to just kind of be in those. He's like, I feel like I'd have a very different life if maybe I could just imagine, the breakup rather than putting myself in some crazy situation,
Yes.
Yeah, so it depends on your flavor of artists, and how you get your inspiration.
Life be life, and Daniel. I'm in a great thing right now. Matter of fact, celebrating 10 years of marriage at the end of this month.
Oh, congratulations.
But if I had to tell you about all the stuff before that, you'd be like, Donato, what a dumbass. Like, how could you end that? How could you be with somebody this is you, Donato, and that person doesn't like that part of you? Already, bro, red flag. But we stay in that stuff, Daniel. So would I be correct in saying, I mean, I was making a joke. You laughed about it, so thank you. But is it that you guys are talented enough to take what we all are going through, or to your point, your friend is going through and you can project it because life be life, and then others may be going through that or have gone through it or maybe could avoid it. If y'all go out there and cop some Daniel Fear's music, you might avoid some drama. I mean, I'm just saying.
Right.
Do you think that's it? Because y'all can put those words to life.
I mean, I guess so. It's also practice. It's like every time that you have a clear thing that you're trying to get across, and you write it down or you sing it or you like record it, you commit to it. That's when you can really learn like how close am I later? Like, how close am I to what I was trying to get across? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like artists of all kinds, maybe we feel things more deeply. I think that's part of it. I think the other part is we practice expressing those things in some mediums, you know, whether it be painting or singing or playing an instrument or whatever. You can tell the people who are feeling whatever it is that they're trying to get across. You can tell the people that are really feeling that.
Yes.
They're both emotional. They're emotional about it, but they're also very skilled and practiced at whatever it is they just did. So I think that's what separates the great artists. Got great inspiration, they got great people around, but they practice their craft.
I get that now. I see that. I never thought about it. That I've never asked anyone that question before. So thank you for that. And now you've given me a way to think about that. That was a great explanation. Daniel, this has flown. I'm just kind of curious here. When you knew you were going to come on, were there any things that you wanted to offer us that you were hoping we were going to get to talk about? It's like, Donato gets to this, I can't wait. But here we are. We're an hour in. I'll do some editing here and there. But was there anything you wanted to? You got some upcoming projects? I'm gonna put this out. I'm gonna have this out quick. Any upcoming projects? Any short-term goals you see yourself on? Share. We are very interested.
Yeah. Well, coming up this coming Saturday, I'm doing a performance at this thing we're calling a road show. But essentially, it's like my music is in a short film, and it's black woman written, directed. It's a powerful new short film. It's been in a couple film festivals this summer. Yeah. But we're doing what we call a road show here in Austin. And the idea behind it is I'm sharing music from the film, played live in person. We're doing a Q&A with the cast and the crew. We're screening the film. It's like this immersive, more like person-to-person experience. So that's happening on August 31st. I'm excited to share that with folks. That's coming up. I'm always looking to collaborate with great individuals. So I love when I get to share that collaboration with other people. So you get to hear a little bit of that August 31st. I'll also be releasing some new video content we filmed earlier in the year. Some beautiful music with strings that I'm really proud of and can't wait to share with y'all. So just stay tuned for that throughout the year. And in the background, I'm working on the next album, on the next project. So yeah, keeping the tools sharp, you know.
How can they stay in contact? I mean, we'll have some appropriate tags in the postings. Some people stumble across this. How can they follow social media, website? How would you prefer everyone to be able to keep up with you?
Yeah, if they're on Instagram, they can go to Instagram.com/Fears, FEARS, on the internet. Fears on the internet. And that's the same for Facebook as well. Facebook.com/Fears on the internet. They can also go to my website, danielfears.com. And there's like a little form you can fill in. You can listen to my music. You can keep up, all those good things. So, those are great ways to stay in contact with me.
Daniel, this was awesome. You took us down a great path. I feel like I've learned something about songwriting, being an artist, that as we talked about, people can change. They can go a different path. I might know someone right now that plays the cello, but 6 years from now, they may be belting out tunes on a road show, which I wouldn't have thought. It's just, so it's about constantly changing, challenging ourselves and not holding ourselves back. I feel like that's what I got from today.
Yeah. I heard this guy I think his name is Myron Golden. He's on YouTube, but I listen to his videos every now and then. I don't agree with everything he says, but something that he did say that really stuck out. He calls this thing Don't believe the lie identity that we've been sold. You know, there's ideas that we can't change, or like these are a fixed set of skills that you have, or if you can't figure this out within the next couple of days or next couple of months, you might as well give up. And that's not the case. If you give yourself time, and like both in the long sense and the sort of short sense, daily, weekly, monthly, to work on things that are important to you, you learn about it, you get around people who can help you learn, you can change your life in maybe a year, maybe a couple of years. The course of your life could be completely different if you decide that you want it to be. If you decide this is how it's just going to be, and you prepare yourself accordingly. You know, we don't have to stay stuck in the things that people praised us for when we were 6 or 10 or whatever. We can grow. We can grow, and it's important to remember that we have to grow. We have to grow. Otherwise, we stay stagnant. We go backwards. You know.
Yes.
We have to grow.
Daniel, I did not know we were going to be getting some affirmations, but Daniel Fears, you don't drop some gems on us today. I'm gonna have some great clips. You talked this. What you said like, who starts off working out 4 hours, increments, small increments of where you feel comfortable, changing, growing, identity, and you know we're gonna have some fun with this one. Thank you, Daniel Fears. Thanks for talking with Donato.
Thank you, Donato. Thanks for having me on.